What's up, everybody, and welcome on back to the episode of the My Side of Things podcast. This is now episode 24. I'm your host, as always, Ash. We got a whole lot of things on the docket to get to today, including talking about the biggest fumbles by both AEW and WWE as of 2025. We're also going to be doing some way too early predictions for the winners for Money in the Bank, Casino Gauntlet, Royal Rumble, and Elimination Chamber. We're also going to be talking about AEW Beach Break as well, but we are going to be kicking off the show talking about one Miss Mariah May, because Ash has had some very interesting thoughts as of these past couple of days when it comes to this whole Mariah May situation. But before we do jump into that, though, wherever you're listening to this podcast at, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, like, follow, share, rate, all that great stuff definitely does help the channel out. If you got a notification bell, make sure you hit that over there as well. We're dropping at least 2 episodes a week, sometimes 3 episodes as well, if I can get on those. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this big Mariah May situation now. I'm going to put the tiny microphone. I'm going to keep the tiny microphone in my hand. So I want to tell a little bit of a story before I jump into this Mariah May thing. And trust me, it does connect to the story as well. So when I was getting like my very first official job, because I had worked before that, but I never had like an official job with a check, like official checks and all that stuff. When I got the very first one, it was pretty hard to get. You know, the lady there, she, for some reason, did not like me. I have no clue what her reason was to this day, but she had made me go through a whole bunch of volunteering and all that stuff, even though nobody else had to volunteer to get the job. They just got the job because they was cool with, you know, her and her boyfriend and all that stuff. So for me, though, it was very hard. Now, I had gotten this job around, let's say, 19, 20, 21 years old, somewhere around there. I know that I was like very still, I was like still pretty early in college, so it was around some of those ages. And obviously, I needed the money, so volunteering wasn't going to be a thing that I could just do forever and ever. While I was getting some financial aid, it just wasn't enough. So eventually, I just went over her to her bigger boss, and I eventually got a job because of that. I got an interview because of that, and then I eventually got the job because they just already basically wanted to hire me. I don't know, man. This lady was just acting weird, but he definitely wanted me on because he had knew how good of a worker I actually was. Now, here's where things got pretty funky, though, because it started becoming a thing of, like, at first, I was getting a whole lot of hours and all that stuff. I was working every single dang day, basically. It was at a youth center, by the way. I was working every single dang day while the other people there were doing basically nothing. There was, like, a whole basketball court there and all that. They were just playing basketball the entire time. Other folks on their phones. And eventually, it became a thing of my hours would start to dwindle more and more down until the point where I was only getting like 1 day a week. And obviously, as a college kid, this is not going to work out at all. I need a lot more than 1 day a week. I started getting like, my friends that had like multiple jobs, they would give me their hours, and it became a thing of she didn't want one person getting everybody's hours and stuff like that. And then that started happening. And eventually I had gotten contacted by another branch of this department to work for them in the out-school program. And I was like, 1000% yes, let me go right on over there. Now, I say that to say the reason why I went over there was because obviously I was being mistreated. It wasn't because of the fact that I wanted to work with out-school program, because I liked working where I was working at. I was pretty cool with some of the workers there. So, things was chill. But it just became a thing of disrespect over time, and the fact that even though I was working my butt off and probably being the hardest worker there, I was not getting the same treatment that the other workers were. And I'm starting to wonder if the same thing holds true for Miss Mariah May, because we talk about her as one of the best women wrestlers on the planet. We talk about her as a super duper star, a on the rise star, whatever you want to call her, had the one of the greatest storylines, if not the greatest storyline in wrestling history. And after that, what started happening with Mariah May? Well, she's just facing a bunch of people, having matches, and that was all fine and dandy. Then eventually Mina Shirakawa came around and they got like a little 2-week storyline, and then Mina went back to Stardom. And then they jumped right into the Toni Storm storyline once again. And as you can see, Mariah May didn't really get much. There wasn't any kind of big stories. There wasn't really, much there other than just whooping on the entire women's division until she eventually dropped the belt at Grand Slam to Toni Storm, the same way that she got the belt in her home country. Toni Storm got the belt in her home country. And while that is a pretty cool thing, I don't think Mariah May needed to lose at Grand Slam. Now that I look back at it, I think if you're going to go with the whole psychotic character, you easily could have had Mariah May still win that match via DQ and then lose at Revolution if you're so hell-bent on giving the title back to Toni Storm. I wonder if part of the reason why Mariah May is thinking about leaving AEW is because she feels like she was mistreated. I mean, she dethroned Toni Storm and was given a, That was in August, so we'll say September. Well, let's go all of August. No. She got it in August. So September, October, November, December, January, February, March. A 7-month reign with basically just one storyline. You could say the second one if you really want to count Mina Shirakawa's, but again, it was like 2 weeks, if even that. So I personally wouldn't fully count that, but she was given like one big storyline, one little tiny storyline, but the big storyline was coming off of the Toni Storm reign, so it really was just like a carryover, not even really a big storyline for Mariah May herself that was separate of Toni Storm. And it feels very Liv Morgan-esque, where it's like, well, Liv Morgan, because of her Rhea Ripley storyline that wasn't even that great, she now gets to go shoot movies. She now has tag titles as well. Mariah May, though, has nothing to show for this big storyline. Like, she's not getting any movies. You know, Toni Storm got a movie. She's not getting any tag titles because there's no tag titles. She didn't even get a match against Mercedes Moné. And in my opinion, I would have done the Mercedes Moné Mariah May match. Heck, you could have had it be like an Iron Woman's match and neither of the women win. They end on a draw, and then here comes Toni Storm to make her re-debut, I guess you could say, whatever you want to say. So it's like, I feel like Mariah May low-key feels slighted by AEW in a sense, and that's why a lot of this is what's happening is happening, because I think she has a lot of love for AEW. She keeps posting a lot of AEW-related stuff with the AEW Women's World Championship. One of them, she had the caption of Miss Ya. The other one, it was a Samsa song, something like that. It said Indecision. So obviously there is a lot of, she doesn't know where to go, because she really does probably love AEW. She really loves a lot of the workers there, but she also has a lot of love for WWE, and she probably sees that by going to WWE, even if she is to get screwed over, at least she's going to be able to do other things outside of it. With AEW, it's not the easiest thing. Like, very rarely do a lot of AEW stars get big movie deals, get big talk shows, like any of this stuff. They don't really get that. So I wonder if Mariah May's looking at it from the same way that I would look at it and be like, well, if you're going to use me, you're getting a lot from me, but with me using you, I don't gain much from. And I wonder if that's maybe the reason as to why she is probably leaning more towards WWE at the moment, is because of the fact that she just feels like not only was she slapped in the face by not giving a credible run to her, but she also kind of just feels like as if she's not gaining much from AEW. And I will say, as much as I do love AEW, one of the biggest cons of AEW over these past few years since its inception is that it feels like no other woman has been given something great other than Toni Storm. Hikaru Shida was given a 370-day reign, and then that was really it. And mind you, she was given that reign during the pandemic era. Then you had Britt Baker dethrone her. Look at, man, I came in here and I tried to give Britt Baker props, but then I also see Britt Baker versus Ruby Soho, and that match was not bad because of Ruby Soho. So yeah, Thunder Rosa hasn't really been given much. The only one that's truly been given a whole lot is Toni Storm. She's been given multiple title reigns. For the most part, all of them feel very competent. There is like one that's like really short, but other than that, though, it's not like Hikaru Shida where she had the 370-day reign, then she had like a 55-day reign and a 25-day reign, because you just didn't want to put the belt on Toni or Saraya because they were having their big old storyline with each other. So it's like, I wonder if it is a possible feeling of just feeling slighted, and if that is the case, I understand Mariah May 100%. I think Mariah May has every single right to say, you know what? If I'm not going to gain anything from you, or I'm not going to gain much from you, or it's going to be too much of a hassle to go get XYZ when I can go to WWE and get treated the exact same way, but yet still come out on top as a movie star or a TV star or something like that, then yeah, I feel her for wanting to go to WWE. And it does kind of go into the thing of, while, you know, Tony Khan has billions and, you know, his dad has billions and AEW is worth a whole lot of money, the marketing, once again, of superstars has become an issue. I feel like there are a lot of superstars there that should be doing more outside of AEW, and it just feels like because he doesn't market them as well, it really does affect them. Like, I feel like Mariah May, Toni Storm, Mercedes Moné, Swerve Strickland, MJF, Kenny Omega, Hangman Adam Page, and whoever else are the top superstars, they should be getting I don't want to say like better treatment in AEW, because that's not the case. If you want to try to treat everybody a bit more fair, fine. But I think like you should be throwing them on posters. They should be constantly outside of all the arenas. They should be like on the front of every AEW Dynamite Collision. Somebody else said this. I think it was like a TikTok or a YouTube. I wish I had the person's name because they're 100% right. It might have been a Reddit, to be honest. But somebody said, why is it so hard to go onto Max and have to find AEW? You have to actually go type in AEW. You can't just find it on the home screen, and he's 100% right. Tony Khan is worth billions. Why are you not paying more money to have AEW shown on that very first tab, the way that Friday Night SmackDowns and Monday Night Raws and NXT Tuesdays will all be shown as the very first tab on Netflix whenever they are shown off in other countries, or CW would show them off first, or USA would show them off first? I get that you have the NBA final or the NBA playoffs going on right now, but what about when the NBA playoffs wasn't going on? Why were you not the front page? Like, that should be a thing. Like, you should be investing more money into that. It goes back to my whole entire thing that I said. I think I said episode 1 about Ring of Honor. Like, we're barely now getting Ring of Honor episodes on YouTube. That should not be the case. This should have been something that happened ever since you took over Ring of Honor. Every other company is doing it in NXT, WWE. Well, WWE doesn't really do it as much, but they do like the other things like NXT, WCW, something else. I'm forgetting the other one, but like they're barely, like they've had them there for a minute now. And Tony Khan was just late to the party in putting Ring of Honor on YouTube. I don't even know if the other episodes are going to get onto YouTube or not. So while Athena's having this like historic reign, most people are not going to know much about it because they're going to be like, well, dang, I can't even go watch the other 800 and something days. And the same thing applies for Mariah May. Like, when Mariah May was champion, she should have been one of the two on the front, the very, very front. A lot of times it was her at the back. A lot of times it was her not even on the on the Dynamite Collision banner. So it's like, while I do hate it, because it's like, I don't want AEW to be like this mainstream product in a sense. And, well, no, let me take that back. I want it to be mainstream. I don't want it to go the WWE route, though, of where WWE has gone today. I want it to be mainstream without having to fully sell out. Because obviously you got to sell out a little bit to be mainstream. We all know that. But don't like fully just sell your soul, man. I still have a little bit of a backbone. But I do want them to be able to have their superstars feel like they are superstars. I want to see guys like Swerve Strickland and Hangman Adam Page and MJF and Tony Storm and all of these super duper mega stars. I want to see them on talk shows. I want to see them in TV shows. I want to see them in movies. I want to see them every single where, because they should be every single where. It's not a thing about going super Hollywood, but at least going a little bit, you know, well, maybe not Hollywood, because Hollywood got a whole lot going on right now. Maybe not Hollywood, but like, you know, mini Wood. Yeah. Go Xavier Woods. There we go. Like Kenny Omega did when he was cutting a promo on Xavier Woods and cooking his ass up. Also, why is Xavier Woods walking around looking like Nozell from Black Clover? If you've ever seen Black Clover. Kind of also look like Byakuya as well, though, but he doesn't have like the hair the exact same way as Byakuya. It's more Nozell with that little piece falling in front. And now that I thought about it, this dude is an anime fan. He's probably a Black Clover fan. I don't have Nozell anywhere, sadly, or else I could show y'all what Nozell looks like. I'll throw him up on the screen because I could easily find a picture. So yeah, I'll throw him up on like the screen or something like that. But he is an anime fan, so it doesn't make sense for him to kind of be like Nozell. Which then I wonder if there's some like little deeper thing there, or if that's just like, you know, him just wanting to look like Nozell. There could be a deeper meaning to that. I'm gonna try to come up with a deeper meaning to that. But no, I definitely do understand if that is the case as to why Mariah May is possibly going to be heading to WWE. That it's not so much she wants to leave, more so that she has to leave for her future. And like I said before, I would have loved for Mariah May to stay there. I wanted AEW to pay her contract last year, but I obviously don't also want them to like just throw the entire bag at her to the point where they're going to be releasing folk left and right like WWE is right now, because that's just not going to be a good thing by any means. But speaking of, I guess, releases, talking about kind of like fumbles and stuff like that, because they is basically talking about fumbles as well, fumbles, releases. Some of the folk that were released definitely were fumbles. We're going to go ahead and talk about the 3 biggest fumbles by WWE and the 3 biggest fumbles by AEW. Of 2025, I'm going to say the 3rd biggest fumble has to be Dakota Kai. I think Dakota Kai should have been the AEW. Well, she might be the AEW Women's World Champion one day, but I feel like she should have been the Intercontinental Champion. I really like Lyra Valkyria. I do. I know I've spoken about her before being kind of bland, and I still stand on that 100%, by the way. I'm not going to be just switching up now like a lot of folks are switching up because they see a little bit of cheeks. But nah, I think that Dakota Kai probably should have got that first because it felt like more of the crowd was behind Dakota Kai. And if the same reason you gave Chelsea Green the belt first was because she had the crowd behind her, and obviously you're probably also trying to make up for the Money in the Bank that you didn't give her, I feel like the same thing could have been true about Dakota Kai. She should have gotten that belt first. It would have been a great moment for her and for Io Sky to have the belts. But not even just that, though. I think I talked about it on this podcast. I might have not, because I think I posted about it. I talked about it, though, where I said that I wanted Dakota Kai to eventually face Zelina Vega. Zelina Vega literally put a tweet out before Dakota Kai was released. Oh, no, not a tweet. She talked about it, that she wanted to face Dakota Kai. She wanted her first challenger to be Dakota Kai because she believes that Dakota Kai deserves it because Dakota Kai is an absolutely awesome superstar. And I swear this random accent just keeps coming out of nowhere, and I do not know where it is. It is a British accent. I promise y'all that I'm not British. I do not be hanging out with Will Ospreay and Mariah May. That'd be a very... okay, look, man, that might be like a pretty fun little friend group right there, man. Come on, I get to hear Will Ospreay bashing WWE 24/7, and I get to see Mariah May just putting her finger in her mouth and doing her weird little thing that she's constantly doing. Oh my God, when Tony Storm was making fun of her for that was the greatest thing in the world. But yeah, no, Dakota Kai, she could have been used somewhere, man. Whether it would be using her in a big feud against Io Sky, moving her over to SmackDown and having her run a big feud with Zelina Vega, or whether it would have been just keeping her on Raw, like, I don't know. Maybe you even could have restructured her contract, because apparently the reason why a lot of these wrestlers were released was because of the fact that it was the age and too much money thing. Okay, so you couldn't just restructure the contract? I'm pretty sure she wouldn't have minded having a restructured contract unless she does mind it, and that's why she's probably going to go to AEW so she can get one last big contract. Then, all right, I guess, but I don't know. It just feels like WWE, you have billions of dollars, man. There's no way it was like too much money for whatever you're paying her for, because let me just throw an estimate out there of what Dakota Kai possibly could have gotten. Let's say... Okay, let's see. Damage Control started in about 2022? 2022? Yeah, 2022. Let's say, so she was signed for 2022, 2023, 2024, and then she was released in 2025. So she was signed about probably like a 3-year deal. Let's just say 3 years, just to be fair. 3 years, I'm going to say probably about $15 million. So like $5 million per year, maybe even less than that. Maybe we can round it off. Maybe it's like $12 million. Actually, you know what? No. If I had to be truthful, I'm going to say $9 million. $9 million, $3 million per year. That is not that much for Dakota Kai. I'm going to be honest with you, man. Especially with what you could do with Dakota Kai, how she could be like the mouthpiece of Damage Control. She could run a feud. She could be a heel for a division that, you know, the IC and the US both need heels. That is not that much, especially when she was doing great with Damage Control early on. I understand that she's injury prone as well, but it's like you're paying a lot of other folk on the roster, probably way more than her. And again, you're worth billions. You're worth billions. She's a big TikTok star right now. She has an amazing podcast with her and Zelina Vega. She's a really fun Twitch streamer. Like, you're at least getting something back. You're getting more fans coming in because she's constantly pulling in more fans, finding out she's a WWE superstar, going to watch WWE, see what she's doing. And if you would have actually done something with her, I guarantee a lot of those fans would have stayed around because they'd be like, oh, dang, you know, our Zelina Vega, our girl Dakota Kai is actually doing something over here. I want to see what she's doing. Oh, she's a heel. Oh, she's a big bad. Let me see how she plays the big bad. Let me see how she does as a champion. Oh, she's the IC champion. Like, come on, y'all didn't even do anything with her to even, benefit from her social media success. So it's like, there's no way that she was getting paid anything over like $12 million. There's no way possible. I would not believe that they're paying her $15 million for 3 years. I think that they were paying her $9 million for 3 years, maybe 10. So you got those little 0.5s in there, like the 0.3s and all that stuff. But for the most part, I think that they were probably honestly lowballing her, in my opinion, because I guarantee there's a few other people that are paid a lot more than she is that probably ain't doing as much as she was. As for the number 2 biggest fumble of 2025, I'm going to go with, I have two teams right here that I have listed. It's just one team definitely got belts. The other team didn't get belts, but should have probably gotten belts. You know what? I'm going to go with Pretty Deadly. Pretty Deadly was starting to get really, really dang hot, especially with the whole musical and stuff like that. You never did the musical, which I feel like was stupid in my opinion. You could have done it at WrestleMania, you could have done it at Elimination Chamber, you could have done it when you were on the European tour, any one of those three. And speaking of the European tour, you had a whole storyline of them being manipulated for weeks upon weeks by DIY, and any time that a wrestler has been manipulated by another wrestler or wrestlers have been manipulated by another wrestler, they always get their get back. Pretty Deadly never got their get back. They never once got it. Instead, you had the Street Profits defeats, DIY to get the tag team belts, and it's like, well, wait, why? Because Pretty Deadly were number one contenders, so why did they not get their rematch? But then Pretty Deadly gets their match against Street Profits and they lose. It's like, why did you not have this great story end in a picture-perfect way? Have Pretty Deadly get the belts, have them get their Pretty Deadly the musical the next week afterwards so that they can celebrate with the crowd and all that stuff, and then have Street Profits throwing them like after WrestleMania or possibly even at WrestleMania, because it was only like a month and a half away from Mania. Like, I mean, sure, it's a month and a half reign for Pretty Deadly. It does suck, but like, you know, it's fine. It's fine. It doesn't need to be like a long reign by any means. Or you could have had Pretty Deadly just to throw DIY much quicker, because DIY was becoming very stale, which I really hate, because I do love DIY a lot. I love Tommaso Ciampa. I love Johnny Gargano, but it's kind of been a running joke with these guys on the main roster, is that on the main roster, they just get pretty dang stale. They have nothing really to do, and you didn't have much baby faces for them to even go against. So why keep the belts on them for as long as you did when they weren't doing anything? Heck, why'd you even have them dethrone MCMG if you weren't gonna run the whole DIY Pretty Deadly storyline? Like, it just made no sense in my opinion. I see people say that Pretty Deadly is not that good. If you have not seen Pretty Deadly wrestle, just say that. They are absolutely amazing. Elton and Kit are just two of the best tag teams on the dang planet. Well, let me say this. They're two of the most underrated tag teams on the planet. I do believe that if given the chance, they could be a top 5 tag team if you actually let them cook, because they are really dang good. Hell, I would have loved to have seen them in that triple threat ladder match turn into a fatal 4-way. Maybe too many chefs in the kitchen, but I possibly would have loved to have seen it. Heck, I would have loved to have seen maybe that triple threat be a triple threat number 1 contender. Maybe it doesn't hit as much though. I don't know, but it could have been like a triple threat number 1 contenders ladder match, and like whoever climbs the ladder and grabs whatever it is off the ladder, they get to face Pretty Deadly for the titles. Or again, you have Pretty Deadly versus Street Profits, like the SmackDown before Mania, and then the SmackDown after Mania, you have Street Profits, MCMG, DIY, and then boom, we have that amazing match still. I don't know, it just feels like as if you had a story for them, you didn't use them, and ever since then you've kind of just said, yeah, okay, we're basically done with y'all. We're gonna turn y'all back into jobbers, which you've had y'all be ever since joining the main roster, which is crazy, because it's like you dropped the ball with them, and I don't understand why you even picked it up to begin with if you were never going to use them. You should have kept them in NXT or just let them go back to the Indies. One of the two. I don't know, man. I really like Pretty Deadly. I think they're an awesome tag team. They're one of my favorite tag teams right now, and I just wish that WWE would use them more. Number 1, though, I'm going to go with another tag team, and I basically spoke about this team earlier in the year. Not earlier in the year, like a few episodes ago after the WrestleMania stuff. I'm going with the New Day. You just fumbled that entire storyline. You had the entire breaking up of Big E, and we thought they were going to become these super duper mega heels, but instead they kind of became jokester heels. You did not build up War Raiders at all to be any kind of baby faces to take the belts off of Judgment Day and then to eventually drop the belts to the New Day. Heck, you didn't even like build them up as baby faces after getting the belts either. So it's like when the New Day dethroned them, it just felt almost meaningless in a sense. The match just felt oddly placed, and just with the New Day in general, like the entire thing you had them doing was feuding with LWO, and it's like, well, why would you turn them heel if you had no other faces in the tag division besides LWO and the War Raiders? Or why'd you not just have like a months upon months feud with the War Raiders? One of the two. Heck, you could have had Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston focusing on the singles division as well, and not only the tag division. Like, they could have just been having each other's back and going against anybody else other than LWO, because I told y'all already that LWO is not that great of a team. They have zero aura whatsoever, although I did make a whole TikTok video on how to make them better, which y'all should go check out. Drop it right here on the screen. And it's just like, I don't get what was the whole entire plan. Like, it feels like so many of like these tag team storylines that could have been really great just ended up not being great. Like MCMG on DIY was just whatever. Street Profits coming back and attacking MCMG and DIY just really led to kind of whatever, you know, it wasn't really that great. You had Pretty Deadly and DIY. It's a lot of DIY here. You had a New Day with their whole big storyline. You had the Creed brothers doing who the heck knows what, whenever, knows where. American Made ain't really been anything since America was actually great, which is never. So, yeah, actually, hold on. Hold on. There was that one time that was actually really, really dang good. 2016, man. Shout out to 2016, man. I know y'all be hating every time we talk about 2016 being the greatest year, but you know what? It was the greatest year. It was, because a real one done graduated, made it through high school and all that. But no, it was also just a really great year because it was 2016, man. Last chill year that we've ever actually had. But yeah, no, the New Day definitely had the bag fumbled on them. And it's like you finally gave them all this heat in the world. They became a true heel team. And you just said, yeah, no, we're going to give you a shitty song like we did with Zelina Vega. And then we're going to give y'all basically nothing like we did with Zelina Vega, which I could also throw her here as well if I really wanted to. Heck, I could have thrown her instead of Dakota Kai if I wanted to, you know? She could have been up here. But it's like, you just, I don't know what the heck you did with the New Day. It's like, this is an iconic tag team. Why would you not want to use them properly? Like that's what I don't get. Super iconic tag team. You finally turn them heel. They get super crazy heat that is so hard to actually get. They were getting booed out of the stadium, and you just turn them into a bunch of jokesters. I don't get it. You know what you really could have done as well is, instead of having the Judgment Day get it thrown by War Raiders, you could have had like two faces come together after the whole New Day stuff they did not like what the New Day did. Had them dethrone the Judgment Day, and then had the New Day dethrone that team. That would have been better. Or if you want to have the War Raiders be like, you know, this face tag team against the belts and all that stuff still, which I don't get why that they were faces because they kind of came back as heels, but whatever, I guess, sure, why not? You could have had like two guys that were really cool with Big E go after the New Day for like weeks upon weeks and then set up an actual rivalry between the New Day and the War Raiders, but you ain't do that either. So I don't really get it, man. I don't know. But to me, it goes Dakota Kai was number 3, Pretty Deadly was number 2, and New Day was number 1 for the biggest fumbles of 2025 by WWE. Now, as far as AEW's biggest fumbles, I think it's the Death Riders. Oh my gosh. Y'all know I like the Death Riders too. Well, no. I like Jon Moxley. That's my bald goat right there. Which, by the way, Tony Khan, we're going to get to in a second, man. What's up with you and your weird infatuation with bald men? What is this? You be rubbing baby oil on the head or something? You better not be like Vince McMahon or like that one dude from Nickelodeon, but instead of feet, you like bald heads on bald older men. Tony Khan, you might be some kind of freaky dick back there, man. It's a good thing that we saw where you are today, so we know that, you know, everything is good. But nah, Death Riders, man, you literally had no faces for these guys to go up against. I mean, like, it got a little better with with Cope and Swerve, and eventually with Samoa Joe. But like, I'm gonna be real with you, man. It's like, as much as I like Christian, it should have been Jay White. I keep saying it. It should have been Jay White that was going against Moxley, not Christian. I mean, I keep saying Christian, not Cope. It should have been Jay White. Beginning of the year, you probably shouldn't have had Powerhouse Hobbs being in it if you weren't really going to do anything big with him, although he might still end up turning heel, so there is that as well. And if that is the case, that would make a lot of sense. But I'll get to that in a little bit, though. But like, I just feel like you could have used more of your faces against them. And I understand you're setting up Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega to go against the Don Callis family because, you know, Kenny Omega needed somebody, and Will Ospreay and Kenny is an amazing tag team that everybody wants to see. I get it 1,000%. Could have been somebody else is all I'm saying. But I mean, all right, cool. It was Will Ospreay, whatever. So you don't have Will Ospreay for Jon Moxley. You're probably trying to save that for All In. But if we don't get that for All In, why don't we get that early on? You know, doesn't really make much sense again. You don't have any other faces because Darby Allin gets taken out, and you already know that Darby Allin's going to go climb Mount Everest. Heck, I'm going to be real with you. We could have done Darby Allin versus Jon Moxley early. Could have done that Maximum Carnage. Why not? I understand that we were, what was Maximum Carnage in Powerhouse Hobbs' place? It might have been, but we could have done it before that. We could have done it at Grand Slam. Didn't do it there. Nope. We could have done it at any point in time. If Darby Allin is not going to be the guy to dethrone Jon Moxley, we could have done that before. That's all I am saying. I don't get it. And then you just didn't have any other faces. You had literally no faces for this group. You kind of had them just beating up on whoever, and again, beating up on Christian and all. I mean, I keep saying Christian. Well, no, they beat him on Christian as well, but beating up on Christian and Cope and FTR, like it sounds great on paper, but it just wasn't the greatest thing in the world. And even not even just their opponents, but also just like the whole entire thing with them going on, like taking over AEW, but all it really was them just feuding with folk in AEW. I don't really like that either. Like, I wish they kind of would have went the aces and eights routes with it, where you had, somebody at commentary rocking with them, like a Taz. That's why it would have been really cool to see possibly Taz be with the Death Riders. It would have been really cool to see maybe some people backstage be with the Death Riders. It would have been cool to have, like, someone on, like, their own personal announcer would have been really cool as well. Just something, man. They really could have done more with this. Like, they really could have done something with this that just would have made it 10 times better, in my opinion. Had somebody in power, like that would have been really, really cool. And they're getting into it now with the Young Bucks and all that stuff, but it's like, I think it's like too little too late. You had like this really dead area. Not to mention the fact that World's End just completely sucked. That Fatal 4-Way was awful, in my opinion. The ending, it was just a whole lot of mess that could have been like 10 times better. So yeah, no, definitely fun with the Death Riders in 2025. In my opinion, this was the time to get it a lot better. And again, over the past about 2 months or so, was it 2 months? Yeah, about like the past 2 months have been a lot better. But those first, 3 months? I'm gonna be real with you, it just was not that great. Now, at number 2, I'm going to go with Harley Cameron. And I know people have said before that Harley Cameron's still regularly on TV and she's still doing things and all that. I think this is where not having tag titles really hurts Harley Cameron, because you have nothing for the woman to do. Like, she's an absolute star. She's so dang funny. I would love to see her on commentary more, just commentating women's matches, commentating anybody's matches, to be honest. I would love to see her backstage more with backstage shenanigans. Like, I would love for Harley Cameron to be used the way R-Truth is. So, like, a lot of these comedic matches that you have, or a lot of these, like, gimmicky matches that you have, whatever you want to call it, I would love to see Harley Cameron coming out and just, like, causing havoc. I would love to see her, popping up in factions and all that. Like, I would love to see Harley Cameron pop up with the Don Callis family. That would be so funny with the way, like, R-Truth was doing it with Judgment Day. That'd be great. I would love to see Harley Cameron pop up with, what's another faction? Not the Death Riders, because that one you need, like, a real serious storyline for. Who else is there? There's the Don Callis family, there's the Death Riders. See, y'all be saying there's a lot of factions in AEW. I can't find all these dang factions, man, at least on top of my head. But, like, any other factions that I just can't think of, I would love to see her just popping up with them. I would love to see her pop up more with Mercedes, pop up with Tony. That'd be so funny. Imagine the segments we would get between these two. Just more TV time for Harley Cameron, the way that R-Truth gets a lot of just random TV time. And I also still will say that if we do not get Harley and Mercedes, I'm going to cry, because that tag team is just going to absolutely hit. It's going to be the funniest thing in the world. It's just going to be an absolute just chef's kiss of a tag team. We really need them damn tag team belts, man. I'm not even going to lie to you. Even though I'm so against it, damn, do we really need those damn belts for some of these women who just need something to do that ain't really got much to do, because it's only 2 belts for the women's division. But yeah, no, Harley just needs to be around a lot more. That's just what it is. She needs to be around a lot more. I would throw her up on the banners as well, because I think she needs to be there for sure. She needs to be one of the front ones. Maybe not like the front, but like at least like in the middle, so that we could see her a lot more as well. I would do more stuff with her on YouTube. Why have they not given her like a whole just like YouTube playlist to create? Just something like, you have Hey EW with RJ. I would love to see something with Harley Cameron as well. Maybe even have Harley Cameron be like a co-host on the show. I think that would be really, really fun. I'd love to see a lot of like just the comedic stuff that they can come up with, because RJ is really funny. Harley's really funny. I think it'd be really great. I would love to see even like Harley just maybe doing her own thing on YouTube. Just maybe like have like a little random series where she goes around and like just interviews people. Like, that'd be really, really fun. Just going around interviewing wrestlers, interviewing some fans, maybe even like just doing more with her, so that you're building up her star power even more, so that when you eventually do put a title on her, because I'm assuming she's going to get a TBS title in the future, maybe even an AEW Women's World title, maybe a tag team title if they introduce those. I'm assuming she's going to get something, and you want to just continue to build her up so that it doesn't become a Joe Hendry case where you do it way too late and she's lost all of her star power now, because that's what you don't want to happen, because Harley Cameron is a star. But at number 1, though, is more so not a person, but a division, and it's your entire TNT division. I don't know what the hell is going on with that division. You gave the belt to Daniel Garcia, and you basically did nothing with him, which I already talked about. I went on the whole thing about it with him and Adam Cole and all that stuff, so I do understand that he does have some areas he struggles in, like his character work and his mic work, but it's like, if you know he struggles there, then put him in great matches. You didn't really do much of that. And then Adam Cole is an absolutely amazing mic worker, but he's not coming out every week like he would do with MJF with his Who's Ready for Story Time with Adam Cole, baby. Like, bring that back. I don't know why you don't. We need to see Adam Cole a lot more. Why did you not have some kind of big rivalry other than Daniel Garcia and Adam Cole? What happened to Adam Cole and the whole dang FTR stuff? We were running that for a minute and we're not doing that. I'm assuming the only thing that I can think of that's going to happen is that Daniel Garcia joins FTR and then he eventually gets his TNT title back from Adam Cole. My only issue with that, though, is I don't want the TNT belt to continue being the stupid thing that gets passed around like every freaking month or so. You had it happen with Sammy Guevara, where you got like 3 in like 7-8 months. Cody got like 2 within like 6 months. Like, it's just, no, we don't need that to happen. We need it to actually be flushed out, having great feuds with it, great matches, great storyline, like whatever you can have. These need to be happening with the TNT belt. I've said before and I'll say it again, the TNT belt needs to be a mainstay on Collision. It needs to constantly be defended, or not constantly, constantly in the sense of like, if you're going to defend it twice a month, defend it twice a month. If you're going to defend it 3 times a month or 4 times a month, do that. If you're going to go once a month, okay, fine. But have big things happening with the belt, and not just like what happened this past week where Adam Cole is on commentary the entire time. Like, why is that happening? I don't need to see that. I don't need to see an entire 2-hour show of Adam Cole being on commentary. Like, that's fine and all, but, you know, it's not showing off your TNT title. It's showing off Adam Cole. You want to show off the title. You want to show the title is the most, the most prominent title on Collision, because it is basically the Collision title as the TNT title. So it's like, I feel like you want to do more with that you're not really fully doing. I feel like there should be a lot more. There should be guys that are really wanting to go for the TNT championship. Who's wanting to go for it right now besides Adam Cole? And really, Adam Cole only wanted to go for it because he needed some kind of damn title, because he ain't had a singles title. So it's like, there's nobody going for it right now. Like, somebody on TNT should be. You have Powerhouse Hobbs that could be going for it. You have Kyle O'Reilly that could be possibly challenging Adam Cole. You have Roderick Strong that could be challenging Adam Cole. Obviously, they're in a tag team, or they're in a faction, but like, why can't we have some friendly matches between them? I wouldn't mind some friendly match between Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. I wouldn't mind some friendly match between Adam Cole and Roderick Strong. You could also have Jay Lethal in there if you really wanted to have him still. I don't know if you really want to use him that much. You have, I know I'm blanking on somebody. It's so hard to like think about names when you're trying to think about names and you just blank on everybody. But like, anybody who should be in that TNT division, which is like the TV division, Commander, it'd be great to have him there. They need to be there. They need to be there, and they need to be constantly going for that TNT championship the way I see folks going for the Heritage Cup on NXT. It was Lexis King that had it, but he wanted to get it from whoever the heck he wanted to get it from. I forgot who the hell had the Heritage Cup before him, because it wasn't Tony D'Angelo, because he lost it. Did he lose to Lexis King? No, whoever the hell he lost it to. Oh, well. Anyways, he lost to somebody, and then Noam Dar came back, and he got the belt from Lexis, or he got the cup from Lexis King, got the belt. But like, I would love to see more of that happen with the TNT Championship, because I feel like it is a very big title that has a really great history on AEW, with Christian, with Cobb, with Miro, with Powerhouse Hobbs, with Wardlow, with Cody Rhodes, with just it's so many other people, and it's just like, I need to see this belt treated like the other belts before it just comes like a jobber belt, basically. Not I don't want to say a jobber belt, but like, it feels more like the hardcore belt, where it's like, it's there, we recognize it, but we don't really care for it. Although I do feel like at some point in time, if they ever get off of TNT and TBS, I think both of those belts eventually do drop, and they add official belts in, and maybe they even add Piper Niven as well and change it back to Doudrop. Oh my gosh, but yeah, no, that's it for the Fumbles. So like I said, with AEW side of things, it's the Death Rise, Harley Cameron, and it's the TNT Championship, and then one more time for the WWE, it was Dakota Kai, Pretty Deadly, and the New Day. Y'all let me know y'all biggest fumbles, by the way, of 2025. I'd love to hear from y'all. Again, if you can't comment, just go ahead and whisper. Also, I was watching like this video earlier. I was on TikTok, right? And I'm not gonna get into the whole case because I'm not talking about this Diddy case. But I was on TikTok, right? And I was just scrolling through videos and stuff, and I get like this one random lady just whispering to me, and she was like, "So yeah, this is what happened in the Diddy case. You see, Diddy's over here talking about this person and that person." I'm like, yo, why is Shorty whispering? I'm like, is Diddy right behind you? She was in the office, so I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe she was the defense attorney going against Diddy. I don't really know. But I'm like, damn, is there a gun at your hip or something? Like, I ain't ever heard somebody just come on here and whisper this is for ASMR. I'm like, I ain't asked for the ASMR Diddy case now. Okay, that's what I don't need. Please don't whisper in my ear what Diddy is doing. No. Ew. Let's go ahead and jump on in over to these way too early predictions, though. For Money in the Bank, Casino Gauntlet, Royal Rumble, and Elimination Chamber, and we are going to start off with the Money in the Bank. Okay, so for both sides of this, whether it be the men's side or the women's side, I have most likely and I have dark horses. For the men's Money in the Bank, most likely I have Seth Rollins, I think, because we're already getting talked about the possible Jey Uso versus Gunther match. It's not going to be Logan Paul. Sorry to the Logan Paul fans out there. I'm actually not sorry. I'm just, trying to be a nice person. But it's going to be Jey Uso versus Gunther June 9th after Money in the Bank. I think this is the easiest way for Seth Rollins to get back into this match, to be able to get the belt quickly as well without having to worry about really anybody getting involved, because he could easily just wait for Jey Uso and Gunther to just rip each other apart and then get the belt from one of them, whoever does have it afterwards. This will also be a great way, I guess, to keep Gunther kind of, in title pictures, because if Seth Rollins does cash in and pins Jey Uso, then Gunther has a very, great claim to wanting a rematch. And then we get Gunther versus Seth Rollins, two of the best wrestlers in the world. That'd be a really cool match to see. So I think that it's going to be Seth Rollins to be the one that gets the Money in the Bank, the most likely person. But for my dark horse, though, this is where we can make things really, really fun if we want to. I'm going to go with Sheamus, not to get the World Heavyweight Championship, not to get the WWE Undisputed Championship, but to get the IC title. Make cashing in on an IC champion or a mid-card champion important. Triple H opened the door to that. I think it's a really cool idea, especially for people who need to get Grand Slam champions. It's the easiest way to get it. I think it should also happen on the women's side as well. But I would love to see Sheamus, because he does have a relationship with Rey Mysterio. He's also a legend as well, and he sees Dominic Mysterio going around acting the way he's acting, just really desecrating Rey Mysterio and just and speaking on all the legends and stuff and saying that he's better than all these people and getting disrespectful and all that. I would love to see Sheamus, instead of cashing in on a weakened Dominic Mysterio, cash in on a Dominic Mysterio that is out there just gloating and all that stuff and get the IC championship from him. Heck, it could even be a thing of like, maybe Sheamus has like a feud with somebody or whatever you really want to do, because the main thing is just to have Dominic Mysterio being a thorn in Sheamus' side, setting up for that eventual cash in. So don't do a quick one. Don't have Sheamus get the belt. Get the Money in the Bank and then cash in like the next Monday night on Raw. No, don't do that. Have it happen over time for weeks upon weeks upon weeks. Because then it's like, well, if he cashes in on a mid-card, it's like, why would you go for the mid-card? But he's already got the World Championship. He's got the WWE Championship. All he needs is the IC title to become a Grand Slam champion, so it makes sense. Also, if it's not Seth Rollins, who the hell else is it gonna be? You're not giving it to Sami Zayn to cash in on Seth Rollins someday. No. You're not giving it to LA Knight. Who's he getting the belt from? John Cena? Seth Rollins? Jey Uso? No. If Cody Rhodes gets it, what are we going to turn LA Knight heel and cash in on Cody Rhodes? No. What are we going to have LA Knight hold it until like after WrestleMania next year and then cash in on whoever's holding the belt after that? No, because maybe it might be Randy Orton who gets the belt from Cody Rhodes. You're not going to have him lose the belt in like a month, and you're not going to have Sami Zayn beat Seth Rollins if he does win the Royal Rumble, or he just has a match with Seth Rollins at Mania. You're not going to have LA Knight win then. No, none of these make sense for LA Knight, and it doesn't make sense for literally anybody else. maybe Drew McIntyre, you could say, they could cash in on a Seth Rollins, but like I would probably just steer away from that. I think when you open it up, it's like, I mean, when you have a top guy get the champion, get the Money in the Bank, it's like, well, if you have it be a case of like Damian Priest where he cashes on Drew McIntyre, now everybody starts getting pissed at Damian Priest because they wanted Drew McIntyre to be the guy. And I think a lot of people are going to be really mad because Sami Zayn should get the belt next year if Seth Rollins is holding the belt by WrestleMania. And if we have Sami Zayn lose the belt real quickly after Jey Uso is likely going to lose the belt within like a couple of months. So once again, the only guy who's actually having a competent run with the belt is Seth Rollins. And I'll give Damian Priest his credit too. But it's like, it's going to make the World Heavyweight title look like a joke. And you're not going to have anybody cashing on Cody Rhodes. I don't think we need to do that unless it's like Dominic Mysterio. If it's Dominic Mysterio to be Cody's edge, okay, I love it. Great. Other ones, it's like, don't really need it. Nah, so I would go with Seth Rollins or I would go with Sheamus. Now, on the woman's side of things, I'm going to go with Naomi for two reasons. One, I talked about it in the last episode, the episode before that. This is Naomi's last run. I think you need to have her go out on a bang or out with a bang. Number two, though, is because of the fact that she's a heel. And more often than not, heels do much better with the Money in the Bank briefcases than faces do. And I think Naomi is going to have so many possibilities because now she has stuff with Nia Jax. So if Nia Jax get the belt, it could be a thing of like, well, had it not been for Naomi, Nia Jax wouldn't even have this championship match because she needed a tag partner to actually be the one to pin Jade and all this stuff. And then she got involved in the match and yada, yada, yada. So Naomi could feel slighted that Nia Jax got the championship from Tiffany Stratton and it wasn't her getting a championship match. If it's Tiffany Stratton, obviously just face versus heel, very much so easy. She also teamed with Jade as well. If it's Jade, obviously that one writes itself. If it's possibly Bianca, that one also does write itself. So Naomi has so many possible routes. I think she needs to be the Money in the Bank holder, and also a proceed with caution Money in the Bank is going to be absolutely insane, and it just works. Proceed with caution because the Money in the Bank holder is always around. So, yeah, no, this one just writes itself. If Naomi does not win, WWE, what are you doing? You actually fumbled the bag. Now, for my dark horse, though, I'm going to go with Stephanie Valkyrie. I'm not a big fan of Stephanie Valkyrie. I'm going to be real with you. But I think with how hot Stephanie Valkyrie is right now, it makes a lot of sense for them to possibly put the Money in the Bank briefcase on her, especially because it could be like La Primera in the Bank. You can like run that whole entire gimmicky thing with it, like how you did for Damian Priest, like how you did for Tiffany Stratton with the pink briefcase. And then with Tiffany Stratton, obviously she got the Money in the Bank briefcase pretty early as well, so Stephanie Valkyrie could easily get it, especially if she does drop her NXT Women's Championship to Jordynne Grace at Battleground. It'd be a great way to, I guess, just to show her out to the main roster as a superstar. And I don't think folks would mind that she's being like pushed to the absolute moon because one, she's already a bit older. She's like 32, 33 years old, so it's like, it's not like as if, in WWE's world, she ain't got that many years left. Let's be real, because we know how WWE be with their older talent. But we also seen that she's a super big superstar already coming up to the main roster. She got a super big pop when she did. Everybody loves her. So I think it'd be a real easy way to give her that Money in the Bank briefcase, and ain't nobody really going to be mad at it. Now, as far as the Men's Casino Gauntlet, which should be happening at All In this year in July, the easiest guy to pick is Jay White. This just gives him so much to do this year. You're probably going to be able to bring him back by All In, so he could be like one of the last entrants in it, or he could be like one of like these like just mystery entrants in it, and then he could easily just go in there, get the switchblade off, and then get the win at some point during the match. Not like immediately into the match, but like just at some point in the match. And then this allows him to really go back to being a heel, which I think Jay White is 10 times better at than being a face. Possibly even bring Bullet Club Gold back as well and stop calling them the damn Bang Bang Gang, because there ain't nobody like that name, bro. I'm going to tell you right now, man. Nobody at all likes it. I don't even think New Japan should have that name trademarked. The Bullet Club Gold, by the way, not the Bang Bang Gang. So it's like, you should be able to use Bullet Club Gold still. Bring that group name back. Bring the group back as well. They could even be the ones that help Jay White get the win. Or if Jay White gets on his own, Jay White gets on his own. I don't really care. I just think that Jay White should be a champion within the next 2 years. That's just my personal opinion. I think he should have been one hopefully by the end of this year. But if he's not, it'd be great to have him at least win the dang chip so that he can, or not, well, yeah. or not the chip, but like, when like the little whatchamacallit, the little what's that thing called that Christian was holding? I forgot what it's called. I'm not gonna lie to you. Funny, a clipboard. Well, it's not a clipboard. It's whatever the hell you call it. He could turn to a heel and he could easily just get the belt off of whoever has the belt. If it's Darby Allin, he could cash in on Darby Allin. If it's still Jon Moxley, he could be the guy to actually cash in on Jon Moxley, get the win there. If it's Hangman or Will, he can cash in on one of them. Like, besides Jon Moxley, there's 3 different faces that he could cash in on. So I would love to see Jay White get it. Now, the dark horse, which I would love to see as well. Now, as for my dark horse, I'm going to go with Anthony Bowens. He's becoming a star, and kind of like I said with Harley Cameron, you're going to need to put a title on him at some point if you want him to continue to be taken seriously. And what's more serious than winning the Casino Gauntlet Battle Royale and getting the dang world championship at some point this year or next year? Like, that's just letting the world know that he is one of your top guys, and it'd be a great way to usher him into the main event scene almost instantly. And you could do it like a Damian Priest thing as well. You can get him up there, have him hold it for maybe a couple of months, lose it, and then have him hovering around the mid-card scene, the main event scene. He could have some big feuds against main event guys that would allow them to still be in big storylines. Like, I think all of this would be great to do with Anthony Bowens, and like I said, he's just becoming a star, and you want to put a belt on him at some point in time, because if you don't, you're probably going to waste away the stardom the exact same way that Joe Hendry was wasted away, and that kind of Jordan Grace was wasting away as well in TNA, and heck, even Mustafa Ali. TNA, man, oh my goodness. But yeah, no, I think that this would be one of the best ways to go with it. Again, whether it's Jay White or it's Anthony Bowens, I would love to see Anthony Bowens. I'm a really big fan of him, and I really love his theme song, but if it's not him, though, I definitely want it to be Jay White, because my goodness, does this man need something to show that he is not Finn Balor 2.0. Please don't be Finn Balor 2.0. Now, I don't know when this next one's going to happen, because we did already have like a Casino Gauntlet match earlier this year with Toni Storm, how she got her match against Mariah May. Although, was that actually a Casino Gauntlet? It might not have been, but let's say it wasn't, and let's say we have one at like Double or Nothing or All In. I don't know where the heck we have it, but let's say we have it at All In. I think the main one that should get it is Megan Bayne. She needs something, and this would allow her to basically have something. This would be the easiest way to get into a championship match. This would be a great way for her just to look like an absolute monster as well. Like, she's just cashing in, and she's just going to get it whenever she wants to get it. And then, obviously, you can run a great storyline with her afterwards of, like, let's say she beats Jamie Hayter, but, like, Jamie Hayter was already basically beaten up. Okay, well, now Jamie Hayter has, like, a whole storyline to run with Megan Bayne for at least, like, the next 2 weeks to a month. That gives Megan Bayne just something for a month instead of having to throw somebody else into the title picture. So that'd be a great way to do it. And whenever Megan Bayne does cash in, whether it's early, whether it's like a medium amount of time or like a later amount of time, it's just going to allow her to be doing something for up to an entire year, which is always a great thing, because Megan Bayne is a superstar, and you're going to want to put a belt on her, just like Anthony Bowens and Harley Cameron, as quick as possible, whether it's a TBS title, the Women's World title, a possible Ring of Honor Women's Championship, or whatever championship it is. You want to put something on her, and you do not want to mess this up, because this woman is still pretty dang young. She is likely going to have a whole lot of contract offers if that contract is up, and you want to put a title on her so that she does take y'all seriously, so that she wants to come back to AEW as well, as much as you want her to come back to AEW. Now, as far as the dark horse, I'm going to go with Athena, and you have 2 options here that you could do with her. Great way to be able to kind of get a little bit of payback on Mercedes Moné if you want her to, possibly cash in before she breaks Jade Cargill's record, or cash in the exact same day that she breaks Jade Cargill's record. You could do one of the two, because if Mercedes does break that record, what does she do afterwards? Literally nothing. She has nothing to do. We're not giving her no damn 1,000-day reign. We're not doing that. I mean, well, then again, if she's still that damn hot, then maybe we will give her a 1,000-day reign. But no, she probably gets the world title. So, yeah, I would say the best thing to do with this is probably going after the world title. So if Mercedes is holding that, you can have her cash in on Mercedes at some point in time. If it's Jamie, if it's Megan, if it's whoever, she could cash in on one of them. And honestly, you know what? If it's Megan and Athena cashes in on Megan, that's the best way to protect Megan Bayne, is that she got beat for the title, yes, and she probably should hold it for years upon years. but she got beat by someone who didn't even beat her in a fair one-on-one. So that's a great way for Athena to get the belt, or anybody to really get the belt off of Megan Bayne if she does get it. But it would just be a great way for Athena to get the belt because it protects Megan Bayne while also putting Athena into the superstar world, putting her into the AEW World Championship, the main picture and all that stuff. So I would go with Athena to be the dark horse. Honestly, though, I would say that probably Athena's more likely than Megan Bayne, just because you're going to have to do something with this woman at some point. She cannot keep holding that Ring of Honor Women's Championship forever. If you want her to hold that and the chip as well, I'm not mad at it. Whatever it is. What's a chip or not? I can't remember exactly what it was. But yeah, no, if you're not going to give her the big match at All In that we kind of all believe we're going to be getting, which is Mercedes versus Athena, then the next best case would be giving her the Casino Gauntlet win and being able to just hold that contract for like an entire year. Obviously, they didn't do that this past time. The past time was just a regular one where it's like a number one contenders match. This one needs to be like just how Christian's was, where you get to hold on to a contract for an entire year, sign it, get your match whenever you want to get your dang match. But yeah, no, for that one though, for my Casino Gauntlet winners, I don't think I refreshed my Money in the Bank winners, but for my Casino Gauntlet winners, it'd be Jay White and Anthony Bowens on the men's side, Megan Bayne and Athena on the women's side. For my Money in the Bank winners on the men's side, it'd be Seth Rollins and Sheamus. For my women's side of things, it'd be Naomi and Stephanie. Now let's go ahead and jump on into the Men's Royal Rumble, because this is where things are going to get very interesting, my friend. Very, very interesting indeed. So for the men's side of things, I think the most likely one is Sami Zayn. Everybody is guessing this right now. Saudi Arabia, it makes so much sense for it to be Sami Zayn. And if he does have a big feud with Seth Rollins going in, it could be just a way to easily get him to that Seth Rollins feud, and we actually do a whole 10 weeks of hell thing, not like how we did with Gunther and Jey Uso. I think that as long as he doesn't turn heel, which we do not need Sami Zayn turning heel, please don't let that picture become true of Sami Zayn, CM Punk, and Jey Uso in the ring, similar to how Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Dean Ambrose were in the ring, where both Seth and Sami had the damn picture. Had the damn steel chair. I do not need him to become heel. Don't run the same storyline again as Sami Zayn joined a damn faction. Think it's betrayed by damn faction and goes and gets them and gets a world title shot. Do not do it, please. It just doesn't really make any sense in my opinion. So yeah, no, I think Sami Zayn should get this, and then if Seth is holding the title, which obviously he would be holding the title, he is going to dethrone Seth Rollins at WrestleMania next year, get his big moment, and I think he does deserve a world title because Sami Zayn is just that damn good. Now, on the other side of things, the next person would be CM Punk. I don't know if CM Punk will go to Saudi. I don't freaking know if he actually would or wouldn't. I don't know. CM Punk's becoming a different person these days. But if they really want to finally have the one-on-one match between CM Punk and Seth Rollins in the main event of WrestleMania, whether it be night 1 or night 2, it'd probably be night 2 this year, then you want to do CM Punk versus Seth Rollins this coming WrestleMania, because I think CM Punk would be, like 47 years old. Seth Rollins would be like 40, 41 years old. So you really want to get this match done at some point in time. Yes, we've had 2 matches already. One of them got interrupted. The other one was just a normal match, and neither one of them had a belt on the line. This will also, I guess, be a great way to give CM Punk a welterweight title before he does go on his way out. And if you do have a Money in the Bank person still holding the belt, still holding the briefcase, they could easily cash in on CM Punk within like a couple of months. I know I said don't do it because it wouldn't make any sense because it's going to make the belt look weird. That's if it's Sammy, because Sammy is not a main event guy. CM Punk is, but he's also way older. So if CM Punk gets cashed in on and loses, it's not that big of an issue. But for Sami Zayn, who's literally only like 40, 41 years old, he's not as old as CM Punk, so he should be holding the title for at least 5 to 6 months and having a credible run with it. CM Punk will be also looked at as a lot more credible champion than Sami Zayn. We all know this. Now, for the women's side of things, I think the most likely one is Roxanne Perez. I think after her performance last year, it just makes so much sense that if you're going to do something big with her, I think it's going to be doing the Royal Rumble. I think the Royal Rumble this year should be about pushing rising stars instead of solidified stars, like last year how they pushed Charlotte Flair instead of Roxanne, when Roxanne and Charlotte were the last 2. I feel like Roxanne Perez should get it this year. I think it'd be a great way to have her have a match against somebody at WrestleMania without forcing it too much. And she doesn't even have to win the match either. Just being in that match itself is going to be big for her. If you don't go with Roxanne Perez, though, I believe the next one to go with is Lyra Valkyria. She's already gotten a major push in 2024, and she's getting a big push in 2025. So, you know what? why not push it to the dang world title scene? And I said last year that Lyra Valkyria should have been the pick. I would have gone with her instead of Charlotte Flair. You could have done Lyra versus literally whoever the hell you want to do it against. Lyra versus Tiffany actually would have been really dang good because they have a match in NXT that was pretty damn good. So I would have loved to have seen Lyra get the match against Tiffany instead. I would have loved to see Lyra get it possibly this year. Like, let's say the champion going in is, I don't know. Let's say Bianca Belair. And possibly Naomi. I would love to see Lyra on Raw go against Bianca Belair. That'd be really cool in my opinion. Or having Lyra go against maybe Bayley gets the belt, or Becky gets the belt, or whoever has the damn belt. Io has the belt. Like, I would love to see any one of these matches, to be honest, because I think Lyra is a awesome ring wrestler. She is one of the best women ring wrestlers, or in-ring wrestlers on the planet, period. So it's like, I would love to see Lyra Valkyria get this opportunity. I think she's been absolutely killing it for these past few months now. I think she's been killing it since NXT. I think she hasn't had the pop since NXT. She hasn't had that great of a pop, though, is the only issue, but she's just been absolutely killing it, in my opinion. And I would have loved to see Lyra get this opportunity. Again, she's my pick last year. She's my pick this year as well. I'm going to keep picking Lyra until Lyra finally gets this dang win, man. My goodness. But again, for my Royal Rumble winners, I would have Sami Zayn as my most likely, CM Punk as my dark horse, Roxanne Perez as my most likely, and Lyra Valkyria as my dark horse. Now, for the last one, we have the men's and the women's Elimination Chamber match. So for the most likely one here, I'm going to go with Roman Reigns. If you're going to put Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes again in WrestleMania main event, whether it's night 1 or night 2, you need to have Roman Reigns actually earn it. We're not doing this BS if he wins the Royal Rumble or he just beats Cody for a match or he just cashes in his rematch clause or all that. No. Have Roman Reigns enter the damn Elimination Chamber like he probably should have been before with his dang title and have him actually earn the match. It would make a lot more sense than just, getting the dang rematch because he's freaking Roman Reigns and he deserves rematches. Like, no, this would be the best way to it, and it's the only way that I want to see Roman Reigns getting back in any title pictures. Obviously, nobody cares what I think. Everybody's going to say they want Roman Reigns to get the belt back. Everybody's going to say they want Roman Reigns to have every damn belt because folks just love to glaze Roman Reigns so much, man. I swear, y'all gonna glaze Roman Reigns the way y'all glaze Triple H, except at least Roman Reigns has had a, better career than Triple H, in my opinion, and better moments and not as bad of lows either. Now, my dark horse is a pretty interesting one. And I'm gonna go with Randy Orton. I don't think he's going to win the Royal Rumble, so the next best place for him to win would be the Elimination Chamber and go on to face and dethrone Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania this year. Cody Rhodes will have gotten dethroned by both of his idols in the past 2 years, and I know, he lost 3 of the 4 past WrestleManias. Yeah, Cody Rhodes has main evented, the past 4 WrestleManias. Who cares? John Cena main evented 4 WrestleManias in a row his first couple years as well. It's fine, and it's Cody Rhodes, dude. The guy's the biggest freaking superstar in WWE right now. So, yeah, no, he deserves to have as many main events. Hell, y'all gave Roman Reigns like 5-6 main events in his first 5 years. Like, no, I really don't care, man. Hell, y'all gave Roman Reigns back-to-back main events on WrestleMania 40. He had night 1 and night 2, and so did Cody Rhodes as well. So, yeah. Oh, wait, that's actually be Cody Rhodes' 4th or 5th. Yeah, never mind. It actually would be 5. Whatever. You know what? Who cares? It's Cody. I don't care. You shouldn't care either. Again, Roman Reigns got 5, okay? Okay, we can give Cody 5 as well. But Cody versus Randy, though, that's a main event match anyways. Like, why would you not want to see that match? It's going to be a lot better than that John Cena Randy match, I'll tell you that right now. But also, this will just be, again, it's going to be great for Randy. He's going to get his WrestleMania win. He's going to get number 15. Now we can start talking about, could he get 16? Could he get 17? Could he break John Cena's record? Maybe, maybe not. I don't think anybody else ever will break John Cena's record. If it's not Randy Orton, it's literally nobody else. Like, he's probably the only guy that's going to be ever coming close to that record. And then never, ever again will somebody get like 15, 16 for their entire career, especially not under Triple H, because they're going to be running them long-ass title reigns. So, yeah, I think Randy Orton would be the dark horse here. Now, for the women's side of things, I think the best one is going to be Jade Cargill. Yes, she could win the Royal Rumble, and she likely would win the Royal Rumble over the Elimination Chamber, but I think that this would be a great way to show her off as a dominant force. Like, I would love to see Jade Cargill to step into the chamber and dominate every single one of these women, not in a way that's like, actually like just squashing them and all that, but that she is just the unbeatable woman, that no matter how great you are, you're just not strong enough to beat her. And this would be a great way to, show off that strength and then be able to have her go on to Mania and face maybe a Bianca Belair or face a Naomi if she has the belt. Maybe they can run that thing back. If it's Charlotte Flair who has the belt, like whoever has the belt, she'll be able to face them and have a great match and obviously get her win at WrestleMania, because that's just what's going to happen. There's no way if she has a championship match at WrestleMania that she's actually losing, especially against any one of those women who are likely going to be more leaning towards the way out than continuing to be in. Sadly, even though they all should still be getting at least for all of them, at least 8-9 more years. I think they should all be wrestling until their mid 40s, in my opinion. But that's just me. Heck, even the late 40s sometimes. But for the other side of things, for the dark side of things at least, I'm gonna go with Nia Jax. I think this is kind of basically the same thing with Jade Cargill, is that just being an absolute monster. I feel like Nia Jax should get an Elimination Chamber win just off the fact that she is known as the Annihilator, or not the Annihilator. What was her called? The Unstoppable Force, something like that. I think that was her nickname, but just the way that Nia Jax has always been built up, I feel like she's never gotten this kind of win where it's like she's just dominated every single one of her competition into getting a number one contenders match. That'd be really, really cool to see for Nia Jax. Maybe we get Nia versus Charlotte at WrestleMania. Maybe we get Nia versus Bianca, Nia versus Jade, Nia versus literally anybody. I would love to see it. I would love to see Nia possibly even get a win there as well. Maybe we can even run Nia versus Tiffany if she gets the belt back. That'd be really cool too. It could also be a great way to transition Nia over to Monday Night Raw if you need, if you need somebody over there who is a great competitor for Nia Jax. I would love to see it. I also feel like I would love to see Nia versus somebody who maybe a Charlotte Flair, because the whole queen thing with both of them. But Nia doesn't really have a rival in a sense. I think the closest one probably is Charlotte. So Nia versus Charlotte would just be absolutely amazing in my opinion. But again, for my Elimination Chamber winners, I have Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, Jade Cargill, and Nia Jax. Y'all let me know all y'all's down below. And again, for all those who are on the Spotify or on the, Spotify, you can comment. If you're on the Apple Podcast, be like that lady on TikTok and just whisper into my ear. Don't worry, I know what you said. But with that, let's go ahead and talk about Beach Breakthrough. That's why I threw my dang iPad aside, because I ain't even write any of that stuff down. I just remembered it all up here. So we opened up the night, and it was just absolutely beautiful match between Will Ospreay and Hangman Adam Page versus Konosuke Takeshita and Josh Alexander. Right from the jump, we just see the whole lack of trust from Hangman Adam Page, which is really weird, by the way, Mr. Hangman. Why don't you trust Will Ospreay? Why don't you trust him, of all people? Are you allowed to, not trust anybody when Swerve Strickland literally admitted to you that he knew he was wrong and that he deserved it, and you still got the man's house burning on your Titron? Hangman, Mr. Hanger, I'm gonna need you to sit your ass down, all right? But no, he was looking over his shoulder, thinking that Will Ospreay was gonna attack him. Now, funny enough, there was a few moments in the match where both the guys did almost hit each other. Will Ospreay almost hit him with a hidden blade, and then there's another moment where I think Hangman almost hit him with, not the buckshot, but it was something else he almost hit him with. But then they had that beautiful moment towards the end with the hidden blade and the buckshot. That was such a fire combination. Oh my, Will Ospreay, man. Is Will Ospreay becoming the Kofi Kingston of AEW? Where this guy can literally tag with anybody. Any single person you want him to tag with, he can do it. And it's just so insane to think about, man. Shout out to Will Ospreay, man. This guy is just absolutely amazing. But then after that, though, we had the Ricochet and Zach Gowen match, and I really loved it, man. I'm not about to come in here and glaze it and say it was some 5-star match or anything like that, but I absolutely loved the match overall. I loved it for the fact that not only did this do a lot for Ricochet, because a lot of me more of a heel, but I loved it for Zach Gowen as well as a lot of people who have, or not all people who have disabilities, to be able to see that just because you have a disability does not mean that you don't have the ability to do something, especially if that's something you really, really love. Zach Gowen loves wrestling, so he's going to continue to wrestle. We also got to see on NXT that Miles Bourne is deaf, and well, I think it's partially deaf. My bad on which one it was. I can't. That's the one I'm blanking on top of my head. But we got to see that he's that he suffers from a hearing disability, but that he still wrestles, and it just shows a lot of people that if you have disabilities, man, don't think that because you have a disability that it stops you from doing whatever it is that you love. If you're capable of doing it, if your disability is not preventing you from doing it, go out there and do it, man. Like, I love teaching, and I have a whole bunch of disabilities that should prevent me from teaching, but I absolutely love teaching, so I'm going to do it. I love creating content, even though I got a speech impediment. I cut out a lot of my stuttering and all that stuff, but I absolutely love creating content. It's a very fun thing. And, it's just, even if you have a disability, man, do not let it ever hold you back in life. Again, if you're able to do something because of your disability, like, if you're able to do something, like if it prevents you fully from doing anything, that's a whole different thing. But, like, if it doesn't prevent you from doing anything, or at least it just, or, like, it kind of just slows you down a bit, still go out there and do it, just do it at your own pace. After this, though, we had, I want to say it was it was a fatal 4-way match between Toni Storm, Mina Shirakawa, Azumi, and Sky Blue. And honestly, they all showed out in this match. Every single one of them looked great. Azumi, I love seeing her in AEW. I love seeing her and Mina Shirakawa going at it, kind of just picking up from the New Japan Pro Wrestling Resurgence main event match. It was absolutely awesome to see those two just going at full speed the entire time they're going against each other, then slowing it down. And when they went against Toni Storm and Sky Blue looked absolutely fantastic in the match. I take back everything I said about her being in the Nikita Lyons of AEW. But coming off of a broken fibula, she was still able to go out there and really hold her own against these other women, even though these other women are probably just a bit more ahead of her. Some of them are a lot more faster than her, but she was still able to, do her thing in the match. Toni Storm just looked absolutely phenomenal, as Toni Storm always does. Her ring psychology, man, it's just getting so good, man. She just knows where everything is at. She always knows where to be at. She's able to really lead a match even when it is against 3 other women. You could just see it multiple times that Toni Storm was leading this match, and it was just beautiful to see. Like I said, I don't know. Like, I don't want to give like the full credit to Mercedes Moné because it feels wrong to, obviously, because Toni Storm does know how to wrestle. But, like, ever since Toni came in, Hikaru came in, Mariah came in, like, just these, like, wrestling folk that really came in, they pushed her to a level that I did not see in NXT or WWE at all. Maybe I didn't get to see it because of the way that they, had her wrestling or whatever it is, but I've just seen her become one of the best women's wrestlers on the planet, one of the best all-around women's wrestlers on the planet, and it's so great to see for Toni Storm because she's able to do this. Oh, baby, she's a lot more than just character work. She's a lot more than just character work. Now you got ring work in there, too, with the mic work as well. Oh, yeah, no. Okay, now we're going to start talking about where Toni Storm ranks all time. And, nigga, oh, man, sometimes it's hard for me to code switch. But now we're going to start. I'm black, by the way. But now we're going to start talking about where she rank at all the time. And y'all know, hey, man, y'all ain't going to like it, man. Y'all ain't going to like where Toni Storm rank at because if she get that ring work down, baby, oh, baby, top 5 is looking real possible. Top 3 also looking real possible, too. But yeah, no, this match was just absolutely beautiful. I forgot to say in the last 2 matches, but Will Ospreay and Hangman Page did get the win over Josh Alexander and Konosuke Takeshita. Let me actually go back to that real quickly because Takeshita attacked afterwards, and then Will and Hangman did get over on them, but then Will accidentally hits Hangman. Obviously, just sparking up that feud even more between these two guys, going into Double or Nothing, and then Ricochet to get the win over Zach Gowen. He started attacking Zach Gowen afterwards. Here comes Mark Briscoe, once again just showing that Ricochet can be anywhere, whether it's the main event scene, the low card scene, the mid card scene, like wherever you're going to put him at, he can be there, and it's going to work wonders. And then as far as this match, Mina Shirakawa did get the win over Toni Storm, actually pinning Toni Storm, which was insane to see. And then afterwards, Azumi gets attacked by Mercedes Moné. Mina Shirakawa goes over there, but then she gets attacked by Mercedes Moné. No, wait. It might have been Mina first and then Azumi. Yeah, I think it was because then Jamie Hayter came out and she attacked Mercedes, setting up their big match. But we also did get it confirmed that Mina Shirakawa will be facing Toni Storm at Double or Nothing for the AEW Women's World Championship. It's going to be a great match to see. I'm wondering if somebody could be making a return to AEW in this match. Maybe Miss Mariah may. Yeah. I don't know. Nah, she probably won't, but hello, everybody. Future me here. I decided to clip this part in because I completely forgot about when I was talking about the whole post that Mariah May had made with the Indecision song, and I think the other one said Miss Ya. I just remembered her recent post today as well, or it might have been like yesterday, whenever. I can't remember when this came out, but it's the one where she's with Nick Wayne. she's holding the Owen Hart Cup Women's Tournament belt because obviously she had won that belt back in 2024. And it's making me wonder, are these three posts potentially connected? So the Missia, the Indecision, and the Owen Hart Cup belts. I know I might be coping a bit, but I think that there's a possibility that Mariah May might actually be returning to AEW very, very soon. Maybe it was always like a thing of if she is going to return, she isn't going to return. And obviously AEW is signing Mina Shirakawa. I think that may have been like a very big thing for Mariah May, that she did want Mina there, obviously because everybody wants Mina, but it also does play into their whole little love triangle storyline between the three, because obviously Toni Storm is like the most successful one of the three. Think of them like three sisters for a second, which is really weird because it's a love story, but Toni Storm is the middle child that is the most successful of all of them. Mina Shirakawa is the older one that, didn't get the great guidance from the parents because obviously it was the first kid they didn't really do the greatest on. So she's had a great career, but has never had the career of Toni Storm. And then Mariah May is the youngest sister that's just trying to be as great as her middle sister because she's the one that, has all the gold and all that stuff. See, this is why I said I didn't want to do the sister thing, because now I started getting a little Alabama-ish. Now let's take it away from sisters for a second, for just a little minute, so we can not make it all weird. But obviously, Mariah May has always, had this love for Mina Shirakawa because she relates to her a lot, because of the fact that, both women have had success in other companies, but they haven't had extreme success within AEW, not until Mina Shirakawa, not until Mariah May got the AEW Women's World Championship. So she's always been very spiteful of Toni Storm. And I feel like going back to that whole storyline that Mariah May and Mina Shirakawa had, I'm wondering now if the reason why Mariah May attacked Mina Shirakawa wasn't because she wanted to, but it was more so because she felt threatened. She felt like Mina Shirakawa was going to be able to get to a place that she had gotten to and then possibly even surpass her, once again leaving Mariah May to be at the bottom of the three. This is where we kind of get back to the sisterly part of this as well. So now I'm wondering, how correct was I when I said before that if Mariah May was going to come back to AEW, her big storyline was likely going to be against Mina Shirakawa, seeing as I think I said this before even Mina got signed, that I wanted them to have a really big storyline with each other, going from lovers to enemies, now back to lovers, and then becoming the AEW World Tag Team Champions. Because that would obviously keep Mina Shirakawa below her. She would never have the AEW Women's World Championship. She would never have any singles gold in AEW. So she would always kind of be, like Mariah May wouldn't be at the bottom. Maybe then that eventually breaks off into going back into a Mariah May, Mina Shirakawa feud between each other, because now once they lose the belts, Mina Shirakawa once again has a chance to go get singles gold. Maybe even when she goes and tries to get singles gold, whether it be a TBS title or the world title, once again Mariah May stops her. Or I think just to not make it so repetitive, after they lose the belts, Mariah May can just automatically just attack Mina Shirakawa, going into the super big feud between the two, because she's once again afraid that she's going to continue to be at the bottom. And for the youngest sisters, that's usually the biggest fear, is that they're going to be the one that doesn't be as successful as older sisters. And I guess to keeping, gosh, we got to keep going back and forth here, man, because it gets really weird. But to have them, in the lovers realm, there are some lovers that don't want their partners to be more successful than them. We know that, like, for a lot of these alpha men, they don't like it when their women make X amount of more money than them. Heck, even some non-alpha men, some men that just have that thing in them that believe that their partner can't make more than them. And maybe in this sense, Mariah May would kind of be more of the masculine lesbian, while Mina Shirakawa would be the more feminine lesbian. So, and they don't have to be lesbians, obviously. They can be bisexual, whatever the freak they want to be. Let's just say, there we go. Whatever. You know what? We're just going to keep it on lesbian for now, because I don't feel like switching it back and forth every 5 seconds. We're already switching too many things back and forth. There's a lot of switching going on here. But Mariah May having the belief in her mind that she has to be more successful than her lover, because if not, then her lover is going to be the one that is basically, I guess, the one in charge. I don't really know how that works out like that. I don't know how people think like that, because I don't really care if my girl make more money than me. Hey, I guess what I'm gonna be doing right at home 24/7 cleaning. The house finna be spotless, food finna be made, everything gonna be good. But yeah, no, I think that there is something there. So I do believe, if that is like the whole entire storyline they're gonna be doing, that Mariah May is going to return at Double or Nothing to cause Mina Shirakawa to lose the match against Toni Storm. Because think about it like this. They're in Chicago. Sky Blue just made her return. She had arguably the biggest pop of the night. Why would you not give her the win? Because wouldn't it make more sense to have Sky Blue get the win and then go on a Double or Nothing and lose to Toni Storm? But it's not that bad of a loss, because at least you're getting a world championship loss. And she's going to be getting a very big pop after she wins against Toni Storm, even if she pins Mina or she pins Azumi, because the fact that she's in her hometown, she gets the big win. And you have so many other storylines you could do. You could do Mercedes interfering in the match so that Azumi or Mina Shirakawa can't get the win. You could set a Mercedes versus Mina at Double or Nothing, Mercedes versus Azumi at Double or Nothing. You could set up one of those two at All In. Like, there's so many other storylines you have. But what if the storyline is Mariah May attacks Mina Shirakawa and then they have their big match at All In, and this eventually leads to their lovers moment, getting back to, being a relationship and all that stuff, and then they go after the AEW Women's Tag Team Champions if those do get unveiled at All In. That would be a pretty dang good story. I guess maybe you don't want it so quickly, though, because then you would have Mariah and Mina getting those titles off of somebody really, really quick. That would definitely suck. So maybe you keep the storyline going. Maybe you have Mina Shirakawa defeat Mariah May at All In, because last year Mariah May did get the win over Toni Storm. This year Mina gets it, and then Mariah continues to attack Mina over and over and over and over. Maybe you could do that, but then you have 6 weeks of build-up. So maybe you would just have like the tag titles get unveiled at All In, but no, because then you'd have to have like a 0 hour show, and you'd have to have Mariah and Mina on the 0 hour. No, we don't want that. No, we can't have that. I mean, is there a world that we could have Mariah and Mina in a tag team eliminator? Like, have them being like in a match to open the show. Then we have like a tag team casino gauntlet eliminator kind of thing. Like, whatever you want to call it. And then the winner of that becomes the AEW World Tag Team or AEW Women's World Tag Team Champions. Maybe we unveil it afterwards. We could always do that as well if we really wanted to. It doesn't have to be at All In. I think All In would just be a great stage for it, because it's the biggest stage for AEW. I don't really know. It's interesting, but I think that's what could be happening with this whole Mariah May situation. So, like, I don't know. It's weird, but I mean, maybe Mariah May did re-sign with AEW, and she just hasn't told anybody yet, because, like I said, she's been posting so much AEW stuff, and for a minute there was like, well, no, she did post a day after, like a few days after. So it's like, I don't know, man. I just know that if it was me, if I was Mariah May, and I was not possibly planning on signing back to AEW, or at least I was trying to get the most money, I'm not posting anything AEW related. I'm not posting anything WWE related. I'm just posting myself, and that is it. So, with that said, her posting so much AEW stuff as of recent is just very, very interesting. And mind you, it's not like she can't go to WWE later. Like, she could easily sign like a 2-year contract again, or like a 4-year contract, and finish all this stuff up with Toni and Mina and get to a possible ending of the storyline, and then go to WWE when she's like 30, 31 years old. I mean, look what they're doing with Julia and Stephanie right now, and they're both in like their early 30s. So Mariah has plenty of time, and she wants to continue just collecting checks from AEW, continue just really, building up her resume and building up her status as one of the best women's characters, best women's wrestlers of all time. She definitely can, and I think that this would be great for her to do. Also, at the time of clipping this in, I actually just found out that Willow Nightingale also got re-signed. So shout out to my dog, Willow Nightingale, for getting her big bag, man. Shout out to my dog. I'm super happy for her. I hope great things are coming forward for her in the future. I do hope that another TBS title is in her future. future. I hope that first world title is in her future, because she, along with a few other women, so it's her, Julia, Chris, and Mercedes, could all be one of the first 4 women to hold an AEW TBS championship and the AEW World Championship, meaning that they'll be one of the only women to hold both belts. That'd be really cool as well. But as far as Mariah May, though, I do think I'm coping, but I do think she makes her a long-awaited return at AEW's Double or Nothing, and I am going to be so happy, man. It's going to be beautiful times, especially if the story plays out anywhere similar to what I'm thinking that it possibly could be. I don't know what's going to be in the main event. It's likely to be Anarchy in the Arena, I would assume. Yeah, I would assume. Although I would love to see Tony and Mina main event. I'd love to see Mercedes and Jamie main event as well. I think Hangman and Will might have a great chance of main eventing. It depends on what else is going to happen on this card, but it probably won't be too much because Anarchy in the Arena is going to be a long time, especially if we have all them damn people in that match. We're going to get to that in a second, though. Don't worry. Because then we had, what was after this? We had, I blanked on their name for so long. We had the Hurt Syndicate versus Top Flight. But before that, though, we had MJF and MVP talking, and MVP told him afterwards, you're going to come out to this match, and, we're going to get down to business and all that stuff. He might say you're going to get what's coming to you, something like that, just basically scaring him. But we had the Hurt Syndicate have a really good match against Top Flight. Top Flight, I'm telling y'all right now, either this year or next year, they are getting either the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships or the AEW World Tag Team Championships. They are absolutely a phenomenal team that has just been growing so much over the year. I would really love to see them possibly get the Trios title with AR Fox, because that would just be a super sick Trios team. But they've just been growing so much over this past year. I'm really, really happy for Top Flight. I like both of them. They are so dang amazing. I want them to keep doing big things. I want them to get the tag team belt at some point in time again, whether it be Ring of Honor or AEW World Tag Team, whichever one they do get. But then speaking of the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships, after the Hurt Syndicate did get the win over Top Flight, we had to continue to attacking Top Flight. Here comes Dustin and Sammy. Dustin starts going at Hurt Syndicate, saying that, they don't need to be doing the things that they're doing. If they really want to hurt people, pick on people in your own size, and setting up to a match between Dustin and Sammy versus the Hurt Syndicate. But then here comes the Crew. They obviously want to get their championship match as well, because they believe that they should, after beating Top Flight multiple times, that they should get their match. So then it got set up that it's going to be the Crew versus Dustin and Sammy for the number one contenders match for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. I think it's at Collision this Saturday. I could be wrong, though. I don't remember exactly when it is. But we will be getting that match. Likely going to be getting Dustin and Sammy winning, which is going to be Dustin and Sammy versus the Hurt Syndicate for probably all the gold. And then we'll get the Hurt Syndicate holding all the gold, obviously, because it just makes no sense for them not to be holding all the gold. But after this whole entire thing played out, though, we did have MVP call out MJF. MJF was nowhere to be found because he was scared. Shelton Benjamin, he looked a little extra happy to be going to find MJF, because he had a little extra pep in his step. And then here comes old snitch-ass Tony Khan going to be snitching on where MJF at. Oh, he's back here. Oh, he's back here. I'm telling y'all, man, this guy's a big-ass nerd, bro. He loves to just be in these storylines whenever he possibly can. He don't force himself into it, though, and I really, really love that, because Vince McMahon sometimes put himself a bit too much in these storylines, and it just became a really annoying thing, in my opinion. I think him and Triple H do a really good job of, when they need to be in the storyline, be in it. When they don't need to be in it, don't be in it. That was a really funny moment, though. And then MJF comes out to the ring. Well, not by choice, by force. And he does get the 3 thumbs up from Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, and MVP. And then they said next week is going to be a contract signing to be in the group. Now, obviously, if you listen to the words, damn, I didn't grab my mic. I don't know how I dropped my tiny mic, but obviously, though, if you listen to those words very carefully, it said it's going to be a contract signing next week. We know exactly what that means. It wasn't this week that we're getting Cedric Alexander. It might have actually been his 90 days next week, or I think maybe on your 90th day, you have to still wait. And they're not obviously going to do that Collision, because that makes no sense. You want to do that Dynamite, the biggest show for AEW. So I'm assuming that Cedric Alexander makes his debut next week. Obviously, contract signing. It's going to be a contract that's actually for Cedric Alexander to sign with AEW and not for MJF to sign with the Hurt Syndicate. And then I think from there, we're going to probably have maybe MJF going back to being a face. I mean, there's still a possibility that he does align with FTR. If they do get Daniel Garcia, they make a Pinnacle 2.0. There always is that possibility. I think, though, that they might not do that, though. I don't know yet. We'll have to see what happens going forward. It's going to be pretty interesting. I don't know how you continue MJF being a big bad heel after this. Maybe transition to like a more cowardly heel. I don't personally like that, though, for MJF. I'd rather have him be like the big bad heel that he's been before. So, yeah, nah, I think that he should continue being a big bad heel and find a way to have it still happen even after whatever's going to happen next week does happen. But speaking of Daniel Garcia and FTR, after this, though, before this, we had a really nice little tribute segment from Taz for Sabu. It's a really beautiful thing to see. Obviously, you can tell that Taz was very choked up. He has a lot of, connections with Sabu, and is probably a really good friend of his. I don't know the two guys, but they're probably like a really good friend of his that, it just hurts to see somebody, especially that you've been in the business with for a very long time. So I'm happy that Taz was able to have that moment. After that, we had MJF and MVP backstage. MJF was saying that, he'll have his lawyer look over the contract. MVP ain't really like that too much. Again, just, obvious that something big's going to be happening next week. And I think that he probably is going to give them a fake contract because he does not want, he doesn't want him to see that the contract is actually going to be an AEW contract for Cedric Alexander. So, yeah, that's probably what it was. But what happened after this? Oh, after this was Daniel Garcia and FTR. And, well, first we had Nigel McGuinness. I was talking about everything that he did and apologizing to Daniel Garcia, saying that he shouldn't have been involved in all this stuff and they should be, being an announcer like he told Tony Schiavone that, when you're an announcer, don't step into that ring. You need to be able to separate yourself and all that stuff. But Daniel Garcia's like, no, all that, yada, yada, yada. I want you to be on my side. I want you to be in my corner when I go against FTR because I need somebody. And then here comes Stokely talking about some stuff that Stokely always be talking about. And then FTR came out and attacked both Daniel Garcia and Nigel McGuinness, mainly getting they did they get both of them? Or somebody? Oh, no. They almost got Nigel. They did get Danny, but they almost got Nigel. Oh, Danny. They almost got Daniel Garcia. Goodness gracious. They got Daniel Garcia. They almost got Nigel, but then here comes Daddy Magic out with a big old dang crowbar once again. Somebody turning heel. Somebody's turning heel, and I think it's going to be Daniel Garcia. It has to be. There's no way it's Daddy Magic or Nigel McGuinness is turning heel. Daniel Garcia fits it so much. He's been wearing a lot of black as of recent. Obviously, in Japan, black, evil, a lot of animes and TV shows and all that. If you're wearing a lot of black on the dark side and all that stuff. So if you want to look into that, you can look into that. But obviously, we are going to be getting that match. I think it's at Double or Nothing as well, which is Daniel Garcia and Nigel McGuinness versus FTR. Possibly even a six-man match with Daddy Magic and Stokely as well. But then we got the big main event of the night, Jon Moxley versus Samoa Joe. And this was one bloody match. If you love these kind of matches, this was for you. I like them, but I didn't really care for it too much though. But it's a Jon Moxley match. It's always gonna be bloody as hell. Was a great steel. Let me take that back. It was a pretty damn good steel cage match. I thought it was just it had its moments. I think there was a lot of this outside stuff that was really getting focused on throughout the match, and it did not really feel that long either. Was the issue? It felt like 10-15 minutes at most. Obviously, a whole lot of shenanigans started happening afterwards, so they didn't want to go way too overtime. But we did have a really good match inside the ring at least, and then we had. The Death Riders tried getting involved in the match, but then Willow, Powerhouse Hobbs, and actually, it might have just been those two. Yeah, because Katsuyori Shibata wasn't there, and neither was Hook. I think it was just those two. They ended up getting, those two away from it. But then here comes something that I was not expecting. But before that, though, Powerhouse Hobbs threw Wheeler Yuta through the table, and then it had that weird moment. That really weird moment where you're like, is this person turning heel? Because they had nothing really showing on Powerhouse Hobbs' face. It was like no light on him. And Samoa Joe's just staring at Powerhouse Hobbs almost in confusion. And I'm like, is he turning? Is Powerhouse Hobbs turning? But then what happened afterwards was that Gabe Kidd, of all the dang people, slipped Jon Moxley the briefcase. And I was like, wait, hold on. Gabe Kidd? It just felt so odd. I cannot explain to you the Gabe Kidd thing other than I think Powerhouse Hobbs is joining the Death Riders. I think Gabe Kidd is joining the Elite. I think Powerhouse Hobbs is joining the Death Riders, and that was a way to distract Samoa Joe. Because after he threw Wheeler Yuta through the table, he didn't do anything else. He did not really do much of else. until he eventually went after Gabe Kidd. But in the beginning, though, not in the beginning, in that little part right there, he ain't doing much else. So I'm like, okay, things are really interesting. You basically just distracted Samoa Joe. Gabe Kidd's able to get the briefcase in there. John Moxley hits him with the briefcase. Hits Samoa Joe with the briefcase, not Gabe Kidd. And then he gets the 1-2-3 over John Moxley, becoming the first male wrestler in AEW to pin every one of the former AEW world champions in AEW. By the way, I think somebody might have pinned somebody outside of AEW, especially like Moxley, CM Punk, and Samoa Joe. I'm pretty sure like they've pinned each other in WWE at least. No, I think if anybody did, it would have been CM Punk that would have pinned all of them, or John Moxley, not Samoa Joe, because Samoa Joe wasn't in CM Punk's time because CM Punk had already left by then. But yeah, no, I think Gabe Kidd is with the Elites because he doesn't feel like a Death Rider kind of person to me. I mean, he does, like he's freaking wild and crazy, but he does it in the sense of like, why would you add him to the Death Riders? Like, it just doesn't make the most sense in my opinion. Also, Tony Khan, you and these bald guys, why? Why are there so many bald men being signed to AEW? And if I shave my head, will you sign me? I'm not going to do it, but I just want to know, would you possibly sign me if that's the case? Because this guy loves signing all the bald folks. I'll tell you right now, man, Bianca Belair was talking about how she going bald because everybody keep pulling her hair. Hey, yo, Miss Bianca, go bald. Go bald. AEW will take you. Throw a wig on and all that stuff. Just show Tony Khan your bald head. Apparently got a freaking bald fetish over here. And as far as how the whole match plays out, there's no way that we're getting like a freaking 8v8 or a 7v7. It's just going to be way too many people. Maybe a stadium stampede if they end up doing that instead. They could easily get an 8 versus 8 or like a 12 versus 12. Hell, you could do the whole damn AEW roster if you really wanted to in a stadium stampede, but they're not going to be in a stadium. They're going to be in an arena, so we couldn't do that. Well, then we have it in arena, so we could do the whole entire thing as well if we wanted to, but nah, I'm assuming that they're probably going to do 5v5, so what it will likely be is John Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Marina Shafir, Gabe Kidd, and Wheeler Yuta versus, Swerve Strickland, Kenny Omega, Powerhouse Hobbs, Samoa Joe, and Willow Nightingale, which is going to be great to see because I really wanted Willow and Marina to be in this match. I think it was perfect for them to be in the match to finally close off this feud somehow, some way. I think I said the last episode that they really should be in it. It's going to be really, really cool to see what they do with all that. Obviously, there's going to be the people out there that don't want to see women get hit, especially taking some serious crazy hits. Again, I think you just got to kind of widen your wrestling experience a little bit because women have been taking these kind of hits all their dang life in wrestling. Go watch Io Sky versus Penta. Go watch Chelsea Green versus Penta. Go watch really any woman you can find them on the indies wrestling some dude in some crazy, crazy match. I think not Willow. I think it was Io that like jumped off the top of like some, I don't know what you call, like a column onto Penta or something like that. I think Penta even did like a package pile driver on her as well in that match. Did some crazy things in that match. And then obviously Chelsea was doing crazy things as well in those matches too. She took a whole lot of crazy hits when she was going against Penta. So it's like, yeah, no, women are fine to be in these matches. It's not going to be for everybody to see, and that's just perfectly fine. But I think the Young Bucks and Okada and them might stay out of this. I'm assuming that's because we're going to get maybe Kenny Omega versus Gabe Kidd before we get Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada. Before we get Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada. But I don't know when you would do it, though, because you're not going to want Gabe Kidd to lose to Kenny Omega, but you're also not going to want Kenny to lose to Okada. I mean, you're not going to want Kenny to lose to Gabe Kidd because you want to have Kenny versus Okada at All In. So I don't really know how we're going to do that. And it's going to be odd if you keep so many people out because Young Bucks and Okada and, well, I guess for the Young Bucks, who keeps them back? Because you have Kevin Knight and you have, Speedball Mike Bailey to keep back those two, but then who keeps back Okada? Okay, maybe you could bring just somebody else random in that can have a match with Okada that can also then give Kenny a match going in. I mean, my bad. That'll give Okada a match going into All In, like it'll give Kenny a match going to All In. So maybe you can do that. You could have a Buddy Matthews return. You could have, I don't really know who the hell else would actually be helping Team AEW. Maybe you have Will or Hangman? No, you probably wouldn't have any one of them. I don't really know who the hell you would have, but I'm pretty sure you would have somebody just get involved in that. Maybe Eddie Kingston returns. I wouldn't be mad at that at all, but
Well, actually, yeah, no, that would actually make a lot of sense because the whole thing with Eddie Kingston and Gabe Kidd, if Eddie Kingston returns to help Team AEW, that makes a lot of sense as well. You could do that. But I do think they were probably not going to get the Young Bucks or Okada in the Anarchy in the Arena match. I think last time we didn't even get... No, we did get the Young Bucks. I don't think we got Okada in the match. No. Yeah, we did. Yeah, that was when... it wasn't Anarchy in the Arena, though. My bad. That was Blood and Guts that we got Okada... and what was it? Jack Perry, the Young Bucks, and was that Hangman versus a really odd form team? Wasn't it like Swerve, Darby, Mark, and was that the Acclaimed? That might have been the Acclaimed. I forgot who the hell it was. It was some odd team. But yeah, no, I could see us getting a 5v5. We're gonna have the women in there. It's gonna be a really, really dang good match overall. I'm gonna absolutely love it. It is going to be interesting to see what the heck does Kazuchika Okada do at possibly Double or Nothing. Maybe, you know what we actually could do to get someone to go against Kazuchika Okada? We could easily have a match with Kazuchika Okada at Double or Nothing, have the Young Bucks get involved to help him out, and then we have, whoever that person is, they could get involved in the potential involvement of the Anarchy Arena match. Heck, we could even have Jack Perry return because I think Gabe Kidd would probably end up joining the Elite, not the Death Riders. It wouldn't really make any sense to join the Death Riders. I think, I mean, well, it would, but I don't think for Jon Moxley it would make sense because he's cool with Eddie Kingston. So why would you want to have Gabe Kidd on your side unless you're just fully going against everything that you went against or everything that you went for before, which wouldn't really make much sense because he's not really having like a big change in his character. But then again, he did take out Bryan Danielson, so maybe it's not the craziest thing in the world to go against Eddie Kingston, even though y'all were like really, really cool with each other. I don't know. But if it's not Eddie Kingston having a match with Okada, it could be somebody else. Maybe Eddie Kingston returns to get involved in a potential Jon Moxley championship match later on, like against Hangman Page or against Will Ospreay, and that's what cost Jon Moxley. Or if it is still against Darby Allin, that's what cost him. Maybe even Eddie Kingston is the guy to dethrone Jon Moxley, and that was like always gonna be the guy to dethrone him, was someone that was from his past. It just wasn't gonna be Bryan Danielson or Darby Allin. It was gonna be Eddie Kingston. This way we get him back into AEW. I would love to see Eddie back. Absolutely amazing mic worker, character worker, and ring worker. He's just phenomenal as hell. But that's going to be it for now, though, y'all. Definitely hope y'all did enjoy this episode. Again, wherever you're listening to it, that would be YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, the liking, the sharing, the following, the rating, the subscribing, the notification bell, the commenting, all that stuff definitely does help out the podcast so damn much. But that's going to be it for me, though, y'all. Y'all have a great one. I'm out of here. Peace, y'all.